You and I with Rashmi Shetty is a simple attempt of bringing in stories of people you and I can draw inspiration from. Ordinary folks, extraordinary lives. Their uniqueness and individuality that make them interesting to talk to and to listen to. A reaffirmation of the fact. Open your eyes wider. The world is far more beautiful when we acknowledge the presence of both you and I.
I didn't realize, but I'd upset a lot of people, a lot of the NGO kind of, the dog loving people actually. So all my problems, and I have the distinction of having multiple high court stay orders to keep myself safe. I have multiple FIRs in different police stations against me. I've had 3 or 4 arrest warrants issued against me, or 2 of which are non-bailable. So I've lived an eventful life. Totally not the life that an engineer, MBA kind of software kind of guy does, So from 2014, my life took a very different turn. January 2014, the first police case was lodged against me. Interestingly, I know pretty much everybody in the system. 31st of December 2013, my company had 300 employees. And like I said, I was successful entrepreneur. On 31st of December 2014, after 1 year, I was the only employee left in the company. My company closed. I completely went bankrupt. Everything in my life stopped. I sold everything I had. I sold all the ambulances. I sold all my property, my wife's jewelry, everything. I sold everything. So the dog lovers, nobody actually ever asked me how I managed. So my downfall, my humiliation, my whatever you call it, was very public. Everybody knew what I was going through. And all these are people who had given hundreds and hundreds of dogs to me that I'd rescued. And so everybody knew what I was going through, but not one person ever asked me this question, can they help me? I'm talking about the dog lovers. I'm not talking about my friends and others, but nobody ever came forward and said, can we help with your dogs? Because at that time I already had like 400-500 dogs. And it was a very big struggle. 2014, 15, 16, it was a very, very big struggle. I remember 2015, 2016, I just didn't have the money to buy chicken for the dogs, and most of their food is actually chicken and rice and eggs. And for 1 year, my dogs actually ate boiled potatoes. From having so many vehicles and so many people, I became the only employee in the company, and I became the only employee at the farm. So I would clean after the dogs. I drove the ambulance and took my dogs to Bangalore to get them treatment. And things were so bad that we would buy 1 day of, 1 day of ration every day. Literally we were living day on day. I'd buy only 2 days.
But what about your business? How did even that have a
everything closed? The allegation against me, the kind of, so it was not just that, some complaint was made, and the complaint was made it was written that way. It was, so actually this particular lady had reported 2 dogs to us, and the dogs were picked up and treated and put back. And she said that the dogs, and my vehicles have GPS and this, that, and the other, and the dogs were put back, and when they're put back, they're photographed, and all that information was there. But she insisted on saying that the dogs have not come back. And she made a police complaint in a police station that a police doesn't understand GPS and photo, and this is about dogs. So they said something, and they called me to the police station. I went to the police station. I realized that the way that my lawyer said that the way that the complaint has been made is not just a complaint, because it says that you have misbehaved with that girl. This word misbehavior is used. Where I have actually never met that woman. To date, I've never met her. on the 3rd or 4th of January 2014. You must remember that it is in December of 2013 that the Nirbhaya case had happened. So it was a very sensitive time for a complaint like that. There was a phrase that was used in the original complaint that, so I went to the court, I actually went to the sessions court and I took bail for that complaint. But the same complaint was lodged in another police station, which actually technically you cannot do. You cannot lodge the same complaint again. The complaint was made in another police station, but this time it was written by lawyers. So this phrase which was used was that I had misbehaved. It was written in a way. So there is a section in the Indian Penal Code, which is section 354. 356 is rape. 354 is attempt to outrage the modesty of a woman. Now this section, the way it is written is that any person who attempts to outrage the modesty of a woman, what it does not say is that it requires physical proximity. And that is how the law is read. It means physical proximity. It requires for you to, but the police doesn't work like that. Police is something by itself. And if you see, because I have had the chance to go to jails and cells, and because of this experiences, it's disconcerting how much under trial people are there. And I mean, the jails are full of under trials actually, because they never got bail. There are people I know, I've met people who was an under trial for shoplifting, which was a 2-year sentence or something, and that was 10 years ago. He's still an under trial. He's still in jail. That's the system. That's how this country is run. And then people are saying there are too many people in the jail because you never gave them bail, because they shouldn't have been there. But anyhow, so the way that it was, so the charge was attempt to outrage the modesty of a woman. So I had the distinction of looking at Bangalore Mirror, the paper, and that day Bangalore Mirror didn't have the ears of the paper, like it was a tabloid form earlier. I think it is back to being a tabloid. Then it had moved to a newspaper form. Earlier it was a tabloid form. So it didn't have the ears of the paper. It says Bangalore Mirror, and the full frame of that picture of that paper is just my photograph.
Oh, okay.
That was the day of my arrest. In a very sensitive time like that, after Nirbhaya, if you say, nobody actually even asked me if, including the cops, they didn't even ask me if you have ever met this person, or how did you attempt to outrage the modesty of a woman. But basically nobody gave me a chance, and it was non-bailable, so I had to be arrested. Right, and once that arrest was made, and once I eventually got bail, even that was covered in Bangalore Mirror, that this guy, even after the Nirbhaya case, he has somehow managed to get bail on such a heinous crime. So it is actually made to read like I have actually done something to outrage her modesty. Nothing is ever written, including the police records, that I have never met that person or even had a phone conversation. For 5 years in the Metropolitan Court, that case never came up for hearing. My case, basically the trial starts the day that the judge asks you, are you guilty or not guilty? When this question is put to you, that is the day that the trial starts. 5 years, every month I went to the court, and that question was never asked to me. Every day I'd go, I'd get a new date. Now, in our judicial system, and I didn't know that, after having that complaint, she never has to appear in the court. Now the state is fighting for her. Her job is limited to only making the complaint. If the FIR is made, then that's it. For 5 years, I went to the court every month, and that question was never asked. And I was talking to some other lawyer, and then more senior lawyers. After actually in the 6th year, just before Corona, he said, you should go to the High Court, look for some succor. I mean, this is not on. I mean, there are hundreds of cases that are meant only to pressurize people, terrorize people, and it keeps happening. So we went to the very competent lawyer. We went to the judge, and that particular day, it was the Chief Justice which was hearing the case. I'm standing there and in the High Court, and the plea comes to him, and he says, "What is this plea?" So he says, "There is a case and 354 case." He said, 354, okay. And people had told me that the moment because the time is so short with the senior guy, that the moment they hear 354, 356, they don't want to get involved. They'll say that let it come through the trial court. Why we don't want to get involved? So he said 354. And so what is the case? So my lawyer said to the justice, he said, he's never met the victim. So he's like, "You've never met the victim?" I said, "No, sir." "You've spoken to her?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Okay, in that case, the High Court will listen to the case." That's it. So now the High Court is not listening because it is not a priority case. It is not a case. But I'm just giving you an instance of how it works. And to answer your question, what happened with my companies? You see, once is such a charged atmosphere at that time, and all my customers, because of those pictures in the newspapers, uh, I would not even get meetings with my customers. I mean, these are people I served for 4 or 5 years. And I mean, I would be like, "Can I come and meet you tomorrow?" He'd say, "I'm busy." I mean, so unfortunately for me, what I did was, like I said, this is the beginning of the year, and uh, my work had dried up. My company had 300 employees, but I had built the company from scratch, right? So there is this hope that, I used to tell myself, and I used to tell my wife also, that, in a few months I'll turn it around. "Eh, theek ho jayega, sab theek ho jayega." I started taking more and more debt, first from banks, to just pay the wage bills, because 300 people is a lot of money. We had 3 offices, our rentals, I mean, there is basically no money is coming in, but everything is running like we have work. So I ran basically an empty company for 1 year. It completely broke me. By the end of the year, I had to decide. I still remember it was in October when called the whole company, and I told them that we'll have to, today is the last day, we'll have to close down, because I can't pay the bills anymore. By that time, I had already run up about, without the tax, it was about 15 crores something that I owed the banks. And then I owed the tax as well, the service tax, and this, that, and the other. So I've had an interesting life. And it was so bad over the next few years. Like I said, my dogs ate potatoes. I ate potatoes. I mean, me and my wife, we didn't have any money. I mean, we didn't have any money. I mean, it is worse. It's like living. I know what it is to live below poverty line, because there's absolutely no money. And I still had to somehow feed my dogs. So
no
like I said,
point did that question arise, Rakesh, that is this my calling?
If I look at, so like I said, I've been writing extensively since that time. If I look at all my writing, all those years, one thing was very clear to me, that this is, like I said, that question of what is the meaning of this life, this of all my Mercedeses and all my houses, and what is the meaning of this? I had found the meaning. The purpose of my life was to take care of my babies. And like I said, I am the keeper of Shiva's dogs. I'm only the keeper. At the beginning of in the farm, there is a temple of Shiva with a dog, which is called Bhairava. I am truly the keeper of his dogs. At no point of time did I mean, I have gone through a very bad time. One day I thought it, I mean, the humiliation was unbearable. So I actually thought that I should maybe just jump from the balcony and finish it off. And I actually called my mother. I want to meet her parents, and I called her and I said, I'm sorry. And the way that I said the word, she knew something was happening. I came back to the balcony, and because it was just very humiliating. I mean, at that time, I had to go to the police station pretty much every Sunday. I had to go to the police station to sign the register. And when they talk to you, they don't talk to you as the MD of a company.
Yeah.
They talk to you as a, for them, an attempt to rape or rape is the same thing. It's the
Yes.
same charge. I mean, people talk to you, it is very humiliating. When you go to the court, to the metropolitan court or any court, I mean, theft or murder is different, but rape is a very different charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my humiliation was kind of total in its way, and that one day I did think of ending it all, and then I told myself that I'm going to give it one more day. And there is a dog. She died now, but there is another dog by the same name who lives with me. Her name is Cleopatra, and I dreamt of her in the night. That morning I remember waking up and I said, I promise. I said, listen, I made my peace that day. I said I will do whatever I need to do, but I will never go back. I will survive, and my dogs will have the best life. And uh, and and it has happened. I there is nothing. Like I said, I'm not being arrogant. I'm just saying it with pride. There is nothing even remotely close to what VOSD is today anywhere in this country. I mean, not even close. I mean, we are better than. Uh, I see pictures of people when they take their dogs for 1,000 rupees a day, when they take them for a bath and swim, and a kennel, which is kennels are like 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees a day. My kennels are better, bigger, and these are stray dogs. We have everything mega size. It is beautiful. So I never, other than that one day, I never went back and revisited that question that is my life worth it? Because I really truly realized that it was a wake up call. I like I said, I made my peace. I said, ठीक है यार, इसके बाद जो भी होगा ना, whatever humiliation. So after that, one of the things that happened is that I developed a very thick skin. A cop saying something, or a tax guy saying something. I'm like, okay.
And how did you build back your financial empire again?
So things actually, when doors close, other doors open. So there will always be some people who believe in you in some way, like I said. So while everybody disbelieves or everybody says that you are this bad guy, and so the dog people in Bangalore never appeared or never actually gave me any help, but there were at the beginning of at the end of 2014, for example, when I was really struggling. I didn't have any employees. I didn't have anybody even to talk to. I mean, if even if we got like 10,000 rupees of work, I didn't know how to complete that work, because there was no software left, there was no company, there was no computers, everything was gone. I mean, the debtors had taken even the computers and the ACs from the from my offices. I salvaged nothing. I mean, out of those three buildings, full of computers and ACs and equipment and everything, I salvaged not even 5 rupees of anything. So then, one person, she used to work with me as a vendor earlier, name is Sangeeta. She started working with me. We started doing some work. Um, at that time, we at least kept the pretense that the company was alive, we were doing something. And And the first year was okay. I mean, we did some very high quality work. The 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 money was nothing to pay the bills, but a lot of the branding, a lot of what we are doing today in terms of the marketing and branding aspect of it, it was actually written at that time. I think of people as uh, they are waves, they're like sine waves. They come in phase and they go out of phase. So nobody is written for you for life. It's not like like you and I have uh, started speaking, or we are speaking after almost 10 years, and like nothing has happened, right? So you get in and out of phase. So that happened, and then there was another remarkable lady. Her name is Beena. She works with me now. um, so she wrote from Pune at one time saying, I want to volunteer with VOSD. And so women writing to me, first of all, it's very, very dangerous. So interestingly, we now have a kind of a ironclad system. So all the messages and mails actually come to a software, which is run by a team of 3 women. So when people write to, and every day there are people who write to VOSD. A lot of it is like, marry me. But actually, I don't respond to anything. They just think that VOSD is responding or I'm responding, but I don't even look at it. I mean, this team actually does. So Beena now manages the whole digital part, including that team. But she originally had approached me with the same thing that, I want to volunteer with you. And I said, okay, well, there was nobody to manage our Facebook at that time. So I said, can you help me manage the Facebook page? And she started, like I said, I was the driver, I was the paravet, I was giving injections, I was giving the drips, I was also cooking, I was doing everything. I mean, I used to run like a 16-20 hour work day, and worry about the money, because next day I had to buy the stuff again. So like, I mean, those were really, really bad years. And so 2017 sometime, Beena started working with me. So from 2019 she's working full time. So she was managing the marketing team for a Israeli company. It's a multi-billion-dollar company called Amdocs. So she started working, like I said, voluntarily, but then we found that. So I started then telling her that, listen, if we get to a financial point of view, financial stability, that we can afford your salary, then how much will that salary be? And because I needed to build the system again, and the fact is that I cannot be the driver and build the system. Like I said, now back again in the system, there are about 100 people, but my view of working with people, and that is very different. I'll tell you how crazy I am. So this is nothing. So then Beena came, and then we started, then we ran one digital campaign. We started learning what digital is, what Facebook campaigns are, what Google campaigns are. We didn't know anything. I mean, we didn't come from this world. We started talking to a lot of ad companies. They would tell us that, this is what. Then we realized that actually all these companies also don't know anything. They are also basically trying to get customers, give me 1 lakh rupees a month and I will give you something, and they don't know what that something is. So we learned, and I'm very proud of that we are not only the most outstanding, we are the best hospital, we are the best kennel, I'm talking about compared to the private people. We are also the best digital team in the country. So we created a great digital understanding, which Beena manages that team. And then once the money started coming in, then we started growing other things. Today we have products, VOSD. So you can actually, on VOSD, you can actually buy the best shampoo for your dogs from VOSD, which is branded VOSD. You can buy the best treatments for your dogs, Ayurvedic treatments for hair loss or for joints and this thing. You can buy all this stuff from VOSD. We actually make it. So we manufacture it, sell it. People across India buy it from us. So it took us 5-6 years, 2 years spent eating potatoes, but we started making money back. And but what I decided, and now that is my golden standard. So Beena and I talk every day. We spend a lot of time talking about work. And as an entrepreneur, you look for things that you can grow, and you spend so many years working on it, or so many crores. I mean, investment is in time and money, and then it will become 50 crores, 100 crores. So I'm looking for growth areas, things that we can grow. uh, but I'm also looking for, as any investor or entrepreneur, I'll invest in my business to grow the business. But one of the other criteria that I use is that it's agnostic of people. I mean, it's not like I need, because I burnt my employees with carrying a ship of 300 people, right? So now it's so that's how, I mean, my thinking, this remote working, COVID was just something that happened. I mean, for me it was not even. I mean, I was already living alone and working remotely on the phone and email. Uh, so the company is distributed. Most of it is in Pune and Bombay. Uh, I live in Bangalore in a farm. I meet nobody, and life's good. And yeah, so I was telling you, I'm crazy. I don't have a bank account. I don't have a Google Pay. I I don't have a passport. So my bank accounts were closed by the banks in 2014-15, right? And because all my checks were bouncing, so they closed my accounts. And so I said, what do I need? I mean, I need somebody to pay the bill, to actually reimburse me for the diesel. Uh, so I don't need a bank account for that. So I am one of those interesting people where I'm the only one I know, I think, who calls somebody and says, so many lakhs of money has to be transferred from this account to that account, or pay a vendor 10 lakh rupees right now. I do it on the phone. I actually never go to a bank. And so somebody says, Google pay me 100 rupees. So I'll call someone and say, Google pay 100 rupees to this guy. And I don't have an account. I have an Aadhaar card, because it was required for my DIN number and for my corporate bank account. And I have a PAN card, and that's it. I mean, I have no banking relationships with anyone. I have no credit cards. I have no debit cards. I'm a free man.
Truly free. And as far as all the cases that are there, and what was
now there is money, there is lawyers. You see, ultimately, all these things are problems when they are like I figured out in life. Most of the problems relate to access to money. If there are problems because I had to be the guy who was driving these vans, and I had to be the guy. That was that. Now we have more dogs. So
how
but there
many
are more
dogs do you
drivers.
take care of now?
We have maybe 1,000 dogs at the farm.
Okay.
So if you see online, you see the quality of the facilities we have built, and swimming pools and this, that, it is like beautiful. So, but what I'm saying is that, now we don't have to worry about, I mean, problem was that I was the only driver and I was the only vet. Now there are vets, paravets, there are caregivers. There's like 35-40 people sitting here around me to take care of the dog. So if you have the money to pay, then everything happens. Yeah, if you have no money to pay your way through life, then you have very big problems. So as far as those cases are concerned, now I don't even bother, because now I have lawyers. I mean, at one point of time, one lawyer, every hearing, he would charge me 10,000 rupees every month. Every month I would go and stand there in the pulpit, and my name would be called, and he would charge me 10,000 rupees, and then he increased it to 20,000 rupees. And at that time, even that used to hurt, because like I said, I was eating potatoes. My dogs were eating potatoes. Literally, we were eating potatoes.
Has Rakesh turned philosophical?
Well, I mean, I think I have, in some way, stopped being philosophical. There were so many things in my head, and now my life is like really simple, very sorted. Like I said, I actually truly don't bank with anyone. Those things that occupy you on a daily basis, the daily grind, even for a fairly successful person, I have cut myself off most of those things. And over the last few months or years, I again asked myself this question. Now that I live with the dogs, now that this is my life, what matters to me? But the rest of my life, what am I here for? I mean, how do I occupy myself? I cannot be digging this well every day, right? So I have basically found only two answers, those two things that matter to me, which is that, like I said, if I go back to my childhood, I wanted to be two things. I wanted to be incredibly strong physically, because I have a lot of physical problems. There is also a background story to that. I've had 2 heart attacks.
Oh, okay.
Both my carotids are blocked. The arteries that go to the brain and to the face, both of them are blocked. I have a brain condition called demyelination. My kidneys have a problem. I've got chronic kidney disease. So there are many things, but I also can lift 100 kgs of weight, which not any 50-year-old man can do. Right. So when I looked at when I look at it and I look at the rest of my life, I'm like, where did I start? I wanted to be two things. I wanted to be very strong and I wanted to be incredibly successful. It's so simple. So everything else other than these two things, for me, it's just a distraction. But so people ask me, I race cars also, by the way. I'm a rally driver. Yeah, I drive in the Indian National Rally Championship.
Recently, or you've been doing that from 2010, 11?
1 year back.
Oh, okay.
So people are like, how do you find time to do all this stuff? I said, I have all the time. I'm doing very little. I'm truly like a child. I exercise a lot. I eat a lot. I sleep a lot. And I work the rest of my day, and that's it.
Okay, if I ask you, Rakesh, to take a step back and look at that Rakesh, who, with all the ambition, started the company, who had the best cut suit and the best watches of the world on his wrist and the cars to drive, to the Rakesh of today.
Yeah.
The phases that your life went through, and if there are words for each of those phases, what would the words that you would use to describe each of those phases, from your childhood to your college to that best cut suit to the Rakesh Shukla today? What are the words that you would use to describe?
Actually, I think I'm struggling a little bit because my ambition is actually greater than what it was before. My ambition, if you ask me truly, my ambition today, if I look at it purely in financial numbers, my ambition today is much larger than my ambition was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I also had all these distractions, all these things that would take my time. The social aspect, this aspect, that aspect, my time is very pure now. I think I have to think of new products and ways to sell them. And I have, like I said, we have built a very solid team who can actually make it happen. So my job is to think of things, the ways in which we can grow. And I have the capability and the team to actually invest in that growth. So my ambition is purely financially much larger than before, actually. Let's put it this way. If I was aiming for 100 crore payout 10 years back, then I'm aiming for 1,000 crore payout today. My ambition is much bigger. except that my I don't value money as something to consume. I mean, it doesn't show on the this thing. This T-shirt is at least 10 years old, and it was one of those T-shirts that was bought like 1,000 rupees. You get 10 T-shirts. So, my wife had bought a pack of 10 T-shirts for me, and I still use them. My shoes are actually like 300 rupees. My pants are 300 rupees. Amazon stuff. Okay, so actually from top to bottom, right now I'm within 1,000 rupees. That's what I wear all the time. So what I'm saying is my hunger for money and for growth is much more than before, but my hunger for consumption is nothing. I don't consume that money anymore.
So the purpose driving you is different.
I need to, like I said, I'm the keeper of his dogs. And I don't plan for the rest of my life. I don't plan for, when I'm 75 and retired and 85, I'll never retire. Okay. But my plan is, in the next 5 years, can I leave a legacy of 1,000 crores for my dogs, which makes sure that for many generations, they are all secure. That's my plan. That's all I think about.
Wow. Okay.
So the hunger is actually more, but like I said, it's not for personal consumption.
Yeah.
People ask me, yesterday there was a conversation on my college Facebook WhatsApp group, and somebody once said that how does he take care of dogs? How do you know he takes care of dogs well when he spends 1,00,000 rupees on his body every month? That he's built like that. And the fact is that I've never had a gym membership. Like, I don't have a bank account. I don't know anybody who doesn't have a bank account. I don't have a bank account. I don't have a Google Pay account. I don't have any digital money. I don't have any, right? Similarly, I've never been to a gym. I just bought, and I started 3 years back. I started from the same van. I had a bar here, and I started with 20 kgs of weight, and I used to take it out here, and I just started practicing, and that weight has kept increasing. So to become incredibly strong, you only need one bar. and nothing. And when my wife comes, like I said, and the people, when I lift, I'm barefoot. You don't even need shoes, because the best balance you have is if you are barefoot.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't even wear shoes. So to become like incredibly strong, you don't need money.
It's just going to the right bar that makes all the difference.
Yeah, it's just going to the right bar. But I've actually not gone to a real bar. I think the last time I went to a movie or to a bar or to a, I don't even remember. I think in the last 10-15 years I've not gone shopping. And so when I started moving, my mind started moving in that direction. Then I started thinking of, like I said, of everything else is kind of superfluous.
Yeah.
And I stopped feeling guilty about it. I think what has changed is that I stopped feeling guilty ki, yeah, this is my friend, so I have to spend time with them, or this is my in-laws, I have to spend time with them, or this is my parent, I have to spend time with this. Whatever this social thing is, I've become blasé. Like I said, if it doesn't make me stronger or more successful, then I have no attention for it. So it's very simple. And I actually have the full day for myself.
Okay. So if it doesn't make you successful, so does every relationship you are giving time to with the question or everything that what's in it for me? Is that the answer that you're looking for? Or what is the bigger question that helps you decide whether it's worth your time and a piece of your life?
There are ways to answer that question. Not one, but one is that I have very few relationships. In some way, they've always been burdensome for me. Like I said, my relationships from my early childhood and with parents, romantic, otherwise, they've always been it's not been easy.
Hmm.
And I stopped pretending. Like I said, I stopped pretending for anything.
Hmm.
So, second is that if you are, I realized many years ago and through my own journey that I'm not a user of people.
Hmm.
I don't feel guilty that I have used you for something.
Hmm.
I am a giver.
Hmm.
When I had nothing, my dog still had
Hmm.
everything. When I have everything, I still don't take anything for myself.
Hmm.
I can start buying more expensive watches and start doing all those things again, but I don't. I have no value for it. So I'm not a giver. I'm not a taker of things from people. So I don't think of my relationships and my investment in time with people that way either,
Okay.
because they are not adding. I think of it as value,
Hmm.
not in terms of taking anything from anyone.
Hmm. Hmm.
Some people add value to me
Hmm.
because they help me grow, they help my company grow. But like I said, I mean, with whatever we're doing, I still have, like I said, I mean, it's a weird way to put it, but it's living a little like a hermit.
Hmm.
Uh, and I go back to the same words, asakti and virakti. I have a lot of lust for success still. I mean, that lust is even more.
Hmm.
But it is not just for me. That's all there is. I mean, I whatever I've created, I want it to be 10 times that, 100 times that. But it will require thousands of crores to run it that way. So I'll need the money before I go.
Okay, so before we go, you've seen a lot in life, I realize
Mm.
now over the last few years. So, three life lessons that you will carry till the end of your life, which you'd like to leave us with.
I remember one which has been my favorite for a long time, which is a book that I read, not in my childhood, but much later. It is by Robert Fulghum, and it says, everything you need to know you learned in kindergarten. And I think that's been one of my important lessons, that the real things that matter, the things that you learn in kindergarten, which is be nice to people, be truthful, don't share with others, live together, stuff like that. Those are the very early life lessons, and we actually choose to forget all those things, and we start looking for success and the mantra of success and all these big books,
Yeah.
which is this guy became so successful because he was doing something. He was not eating anything, he was not doing anything. He just happened to be in a situation which led to his success. So I'm not saying that hard work is not an important thing. Intelligence and hard work are essential grounds to be successful, but it's not the only thing. So luck, timing, there are many other things, but it doesn't stop you from doing the basics right. And the basics we learned in kindergarten.
Hmm.
So that's what I think. uh, I don't know if I can give you three, but I can give you one, which is about lessons from kindergarten.
Okay. And looking at your own self, is there something that you would like to tell youngsters who start with the same dream that you did? That life is all about success,
Oh
having a
yeah,
good
oh
bank
yeah. No,
balance.
it is, and I think absolutely. So it's one of my talks as well, which is first is that you need to define success.
Hmm.
Success. Everybody says, your parents keep telling you this is success, and you start going after that success. Then you see, that guy is CEO that is making so much money, uh, and you need to define what success is, and it looks like money, it's not.
Mm.
The other day, somebody used a phrase for me, one of my college mates, that um, he's a very senior banker. And he said, Shukla, since we studied together, I've been a banker all my life, and he's like a very senior president level guy in a very big multinational bank. He said, I'm quoting his words. He said, मैंने बहुत बड़े बड़े धुरंधर देखे. Dhurandhar in Hindi means people who are, people for whom thousands of crores is nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
But I've hardly ever met somebody as successful as you. And it's a very big thing to say. I mean, and we were talking after 20 years, 25 years. Right? So my point is that you have to define success for yourself. Success is not just money. But also success is not money. You have to define a mix of what success. So, I mean, there's one way that I look at it is that if let's say Rajkumar, the actor, the Kannada actor Rajkumar, was he less successful than Amitabh Bachchan? Can you compare their success, or Lata Mangeshkar from some other, or Robert De Niro? Can you compare these people? I mean, in their own right, their success is actually pretty complete. Robert De Niro his success is very complete, and so is Rajkumar's success very complete. Can you compare these kind of two people? No. So success comes in many flavors and many ways, and people don't invest their time in finding out what success is. And I think that is also the reason why they end up being on social media. because not knowing what success is, what you are driven for, causes you to be unhappy and causes you to have low self-worth. Because you're always thinking, yaar, iske paas to mujhse zyada paisa hai. His girlfriend is hotter than mine. He's got more money than me. He's got more cars than me. And it will always be there. I mean, for every Ambani, there is a Zuckerberg. For every Zuckerberg, there is a Bill Gates. I mean, that it never ends.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out what you want. And your life's ups and downs are actually windows to life's telling you something.
And what has your window spoken to you? What is the biggest simple lesson that your window has opened out?
I told you, I have boiled it down to just two things. So that's the other thing about success I want to talk about for a minute, which is that when people are young, when we are children, we have lots of dreams. मैं ना बड़ा होके ये करूंगा, I will do this, I will do that, I will do that. And even when you learn that, it is not going to be so easy being an astronaut. When you are a little kid, then you want to be an astronaut or whatever.
Yeah.
And you go to school and you realize that, astronauts are not easy things. My point is that dreams keep shifting, and there is realization, and the world will kind of modify those dreams. But I think the sad part is that people stop dreaming. You become this middle class, you get into that space of just doing your job, just doing something, just to live, that there is no purpose in life left. Maybe the question that I used to ask myself, what is my purpose? Which I don't ask because I know my purpose. But you have to be asking that question, what are you here for? And people stop dreaming after a while. That joy of being alive goes away. And that's what I would tell people. I mean, I tell people who are my age, be happy, man. I mean, find something to do. अभी everybody is not going to be a CEO. अगर तू CEO नहीं बना ना तो कोई बात नहीं, कुछ और बन जाए यार.
Correct.
Find something that makes you alive. And most people just living. They stop dreaming. They stop being in that space. And I don't want to be that. And that is why I said I found out the two things that made me happy when I was a child. I wanted to be these two things. I wanted to be incredibly strong and incredibly successful. So I said, what better chance than now? And one of the things that happened, and I must tell you about, not about success, but one of the big lessons in my life was that when everything had gone away, all the people, and when you are unsuccessful, when you are down and out, everybody will leave you. I can get, this is written in the Shastras, it is written everywhere, that when you out, you are alone.
Yes.
And that is a fact.
Yeah.
There is nobody, no relative, nobody. You are absolutely alone.
Yeah, true.
But in that absolute alone place, I also eventually found a great opportunity. And that opportunity is that all my earlier life's baggage, which I had collected, baggage is emotional, baggage is people, baggage is the kind of responses I would give to people and they would give to me. Baggage is the kind of work that my company was. That is also baggage. You cannot change the company immediately, because you have created a company, right? I mean, you're working, and suddenly going from north to south is not that easy. So everything in your life is a set pattern, and it has been set for a long time. It has taken some of these things years to, and when I became 45, everything was destroyed. So I can look back, and I didn't want to be that guy who looks back at my life and he says, about the time I was a successful guy, मेरे पास भी एक Mercedes थी, मेरे पास भी ये था. I was like, I don't want to live in the past. I had to let go of it. But I had the opportunity of also not carrying that baggage of the past. So loss in life is always not a bad thing. And I mentioned about strength. I said I wanted to be strong, and I wanted to be super successful. But I said physically strong, because you know why? I am mentally I know that I'm the strongest man I know. I know that for a fact. I've never met somebody who's got more mental strength than I have. So only thing I have to translate it is to physical strength, which I'm already very strong. At 100 kgs lift, it's not easy, and I'm going to be 50, and I can do it. So people, they stop dreaming. They just kind of get used to. As terrible as that time was, the only regret that I have in my entire life is that in that time I could not take care of my babies the way I should have. I could have done more. I could have had better medicine. I could have had better food. But I didn't have the money. If I could change one thing in my life, that is what I would change. But otherwise, if I could go back and change the day that I got arrested and thrown in jail, I would not change it. It had to happen. It had to happen for a reason, and I didn't enjoy it then, but it showed me the man I am. So it should have. Otherwise, I would have never known. How would I ever know how strong I really am?
Thanks a lot, Rakesh, for opening out such a personal space of yours and sharing it all. Because
pleasure is mine.
For me, the Rakesh I had met years ago to the Rakesh that I see today has evolved quite a bit. And the way you speak and the dreams you speak about are something that makes me really happy for you.
Thank you so much.
What I'm taking back is great attitude, because I believe your attitude decides your altitude, and you have really scaled high.
Thank you so much.
All the very best on whatever you have in front of you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being part of this.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
You and I with Rashmi Shetty.
I loved it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. With that, we come to the end of this weekly quest of You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Do let us know if you know people who make the world beautiful. Write in to rashmi.thethirdeye@gmail.com. That is rashmi.thirddeye@gmail.com. Come,
Let's explore this amazing world together, both you and I.